I mentioned I'm going to Korea, it's,
well, what the hell is she doing going there? Why the hell is she doing? Why is she doing that? Why would she just up and go to Puerto Rico?
why would she just up and go to a place that she's always dreamed of? You know, things like that really bothered me. Ooh, these mountains are beautiful. Hey YouTube, it's your girl Amber Gonzalez from the channel Ambie Gonzalez TV, and today I'm going to be talking to you all a little bit about how I overcame depression / overcoming depression, because everybody still have their days, right? Right now I'm just at home, I'm on my porch, I'm here in Caguas, Puerto Rico, and this morning I woke up around 4:30 and I was preparing myself for my language class that I had at a few hours ago. And also, I was thinking about a lot of the emails that I get from you all. Ever since I did the depression video, I've been getting DMs like crazy on Instagram, messages on Facebook, emails from a lot of you all that apparently are suffering from depression. And you all were just telling me your stories and different things. So some of you were asking me to do a video on how to overcome, what do I do, etc. Even comments under that video, I saw that. So this is just going to be a little brief video about that, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what I did to overcome it, right? So you guys know in the 2 videos I did where I was talking about depression a little bit, I want to say 2014 up until before I moved to Puerto Rico, really, I was going through severe depression. And I thought it was minor. I didn't think much of it at first. I didn't know what to call it, whatever. But I was extremely depressed, and it got so bad 2 years ago to the point where I had to see a doctor. That's how bad my depression had gotten. And I went through help through my employer. And then I had like free sessions through the employer, and then I transitioned to my family doctor. And he sent me to a psychiatrist, right? Someone I can talk to. I definitely want to say number one thing that'll help you get over depression or at least heal through it is you have to talk to somebody. You have to, and when I say somebody, it's good to have a friend you can, you know, talk to every now and then, but you really want to talk to like a professional, someone that can talk you through the problems and get to the root of your problem, get to the root of what's keeping you at this, you know, this sadness, right? I knew that being in Michigan was like, it was triggering my depression in crazy ways. Like I was just straight up sad. I was very sad to the point where I had to see a doctor for it. And my only way to escape depression, my only way to feel better was for me to travel. And I didn't realize that traveling made me feel better, right? I mean, I've always known I like to travel, I want to travel, I'm happy when I'm traveling. But it wasn't until I became a flight attendant and I realized like, wow, me traveling is making me feel better, I feel happier. And that was one of the things that helped me feel better, right? Also, language learning. So what I did was I would focus on learning Korean. So I knew Korean was a language I always wanted to learn. And last year around August, I want to say, was it August last year? Sometime last year, I had started taking Korean lessons with the professional teacher. So I would get so happy with my Korean sessions. Just me learning Korean language was helping me to get through depression, and I didn't really realize it. Basically what I'm saying is I focused on the things that made me happy. That's how I was able to just really overcome the sadness at that moment, right? And then also by me being a flight attendant, I became a flight attendant in January 2016, right? So that's when like the real journey began of me like traveling. I traveled before I became a flight attendant, but I traveled more after I became a flight attendant. So, and now I had access to free travel, right? So it's like, why not? Why not take advantage of this benefit? You know, who cares? People trying to make me feel bad for using my benefit, right? So if the airline allowed me to travel for free, why not? In 2016, that's when you guys saw the most on here on my channel. I was traveling. I went to Dominican Republic, I went to Ecuador, I went to South Korea not once but twice. I took my mom to Paris. I was doing a lot of like solo traveling. I went to Colombia I went last year, I think, by myself for the first time. Yeah, I found that traveling really helped me kind of balance out everything, because there's no question that I was depressed. You know, I had already been diagnosed with depression, so there's no question about that. But when I started traveling, I was finding that to be like an escape, right? And I'm grateful because my kid's father, we were able to co-parent, where he's like, okay, you want to take 2 or 3 weeks off, go ahead, fly somewhere, have fun, I'll keep the girls. Because we didn't live in the same state, so it pretty much worked out. The girls go with him, I travel, and I get them and they're back home. And plus, I mentioned I get weeks off from work a lot. So you guys know, as a flight attendant, I know a lot of people think flight attendants are never home, right? And it's not true. I don't even know how to stress that as much as I can. It's not true. I only work about 7 or 8 days a month. I get 2 to 3 weeks off every month. You know, if I want to work more, I can. If I want to drop trips, I can. So usually, in my experience, I'm at home more with my daughters than anybody working a 9 to 5, than most people. So what happens is, like, when I want to travel, it's like, okay, this month I can't travel, so I'll plan for next month. And it's like, okay, their dad's like, all right, I'll get him for 2 weeks. He's happy to get him, and I'll go travel. But I understand, like, how on social media, and by all means, you guys know, you guys send me a lot of love and support. It's always the ones that's around me that got so much to say. You know, they'll look at you traveling like, oh, she's in Korea this week. Oh, she's in China that month. Oh, she's in Canada. When is she ever at home? Like, girl, I'm at home more with my kids than you are. You know, I'm very blessed to have a career where if I want to be off for 2 weeks, I can. So, you know, and then, of course, if you're anybody out there that have children, and let's say you're a family that travels, common sense will tell you that one parent can't just get a passport, right? You have to have both consensual agreements. Like, both parents have to agree to the children to be able to have a passport. So eventually, you know, we'll come to that conclusion where they can have passports. But I can't just say, oh, I'm gonna apply for my daughters to have passports, they can come to South Korea with me. It don't work that way. I'm not the only parent, you know. But I don't know, people are just by all means, people like to find their reasons to try to put you down. Like,
she don't travel with her kids.
People do these things to make themselves feel better. The bottom line is, I was surrounded by that energy. So I totally get it when you all email me and say, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. I totally get it. I understand not being understood. I found that traveling made me happy, but I noticed like a change in 2017. I'm traveling, I found something I really like doing, and I'm going to have to give it all up because my girls are starting school. I'm going to have to go back to a 9 to 5, and that's when the anxiety came again, and it's like, oh my God, I'm feeling depressed again. And then on top of that, you guys already know the story, like I was also dealing with negative energy, and that's the worst thing you want to deal with when you're depressed. When you already are on that edge and you feel like you want to give up on life, the last thing you need is somebody trying to remind you of your past or try to bring you down. What they don't know, you're really depressed. But I was dealing with negative, toxic people, and then at the same time, I was dealing with my own battles, which was depression, which is something really serious, right? So those two things just kept me like, it kept me down. But a way that I was able to just really fight and get through it was the fact that I had my language learning. I found things that I liked. I focused on things that I enjoyed. Kung Fu fighting was a good relief for me. I was unable to continue at the Kung Fu school, the Kung Fu academy that I was attending in Detroit, because I didn't really have a babysitter. I was already paying for a babysitter for when I fly and everything, and nobody would keep them for me to do anything, do Kung Fu. So that's something I really liked. So it was like, I had to stop doing Kung Fu, but I found a way to still do Kung Fu, but from home. So I have found these DVDs from this this Buddhist monk, and he has his own Kung Fu Academy in Europe, in London. So I started practicing Kung Fu with his DVDs, and that helped me to just cope through all the other stuff, right? Also, the Korean classes, me studying Korean, that helped me. So I pretty much just focused on things that made me happy. So I'm telling you that that's a way for you to overcome depression, find that happy space. A way to kind of like just overcome it for the moment is you have to find things that you enjoy. You have to focus on that. I know it's hard. I know how hard it can be when you wake up and you're just sad, right? You wake up and you don't know why you're sad necessarily. You're just sad. There's always a reason why. You know, at first I thought, oh my God, I'm just sad for no reason. I don't even have a reason to be sad. There's a reason, and that's where a counselor, a therapist, a doctor comes in place, because you have to get to the root of that issue. If you don't even feel comfortable talking to a doctor because they might give you medicine, fine, see a therapist. Talking it out does a lot, because you can get to the root of the issue of why you're sad, why you're depressed. That helped me a ton. So you definitely want to talk to someone. You want to focus on things that make you happy. You want to set goals and every day try to work towards those goals, right? Like doing these type of videos, I'm realizing now, I didn't realize the impact before, but I realized that it's necessary and it's good, because it shows other people that you're not the only one that deal with that. For some reason, I would think I'm the only one going through this, because other people around me, their family, their friends were so supportive of them, and I would see that and I'm like, dang. I mentioned I'm going to Korea.
Well, what the hell is she doing going there? Why the hell is she doing? Why is she doing that? Why would she just up and go to Puerto Rico?
Why would she just up and go to a place that she's always dreamed of? You know, things like that really bothered me. But don't do things to seek approval, which I explained in the last video. What motivates me, I've always been seeking approval, like secretly, and I never get it anyway. So once I decided to just start doing things that make me happy, start doing things for me, I started to feel better. Guys, I was miserable in Michigan. So miserable. I don't even know another way to say it. I was just at a very low point. You can never tell through the videos, because I'm happy when I'm doing videos on YouTube. I'm happy when I'm learning languages with my teacher. I'm happy when I'm tutoring Spanish students. I'm happy when I'm traveling. So I focused on those things because it made me happy. So that's what you have to do. Find whatever it is that you like to do, and you have to focus on that. Like legit focus on it. I know it's hard if let's say you're a teenager. A lot of you guys are teenagers that write me. You're a teenager, and let's say you live at home with your parents are always arguing, or your father is always being verbally abusive to you. And just to clarify, verbal abuse can be you telling somebody they're a failure, or telling somebody why can't you do anything right, or always pointing out somebody's flaws. All of that is abuse. It's bad and it's toxic. If you're a teenager and you go through it, you can't change it right now, right? You're kind of stuck for the next few years. A way for you to kind of tune that out is you have to find something that you love to do and focus your energy on that until you can change the situation. You guys know, finally I moved out here to Puerto Rico. Two places I've always wanted to live was Puerto Rico and Korea, South Korea. And I finally made it happen when I moved here. And it still don't feel real, right? It's like, oh my God, I'm here. But part of that was me doing something for me that I really wanted to do, you know? And it's like, who can be upset at somebody finding something that they love and making it happen? Who can be upset with somebody for taking a leap out on faith, right? That's what I did. I pretty much started focusing on things I love and what I wanted to do. I made a plan. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to give a crap, a shit about what anybody has to say. Because at the end of the day, I live my life. You live your life. I don't live your life, they don't live my life, and you have to think of it that way. So this video is a little long now, and that's pretty much what I wanted to say. It's a message to you guys, how to overcome, focus on what you love, make plans, dwell yourself in what you love to do, And that's pretty much the easiest way to kind of tune out the rest, and definitely talk to someone. That's all I have for you guys today. Eso es todo. Gracias por ver este video. Thank you all for watching. Leave your comments below. If you have any other suggestions for people that are watching that want tips on how to overcome, leave your advice below. I would love to read it. I love reading you all's comments. Thank you again, and you all have a good day. Adios.